particular phone, the phone number for the iPhone was stored as Karen S.
Clarify when you say the iPhone, which iPhone are you referring to?
So the very next item number that I received was an iPhone from Susan Clark as part of the... Then we get to the phone text messages. The first sent text message does not have the prefix, but it does have 796-1910, and it's a outgoing message. Didn't mean to call from my other phone. If my husband calls from an 870 number, please don't talk to him. Say you must have the wrong number. Period. Karen, sorry.
Are there more texts that would lead us to believe, or might lead you to believe, that Karen was utilizing this phone?
The next one is an inbox receipt from that same number. Okay, but I want to talk to you. Then immediate response back to that number. Give me some time! Exclamation point. I filed a couple of weeks ago! Exclamation point. Karen. And then immediate response. Okay, please call if you can. I do want to see you. Then another one from that number. Call me, collect on a payphone. And then she responds back to that number. I can use this phone. It's an extra line of Kathy's, period. And then there's a star, Kathy B, a star, FAW star.
Were there any text messages with this number on even before she went missing? Just hold on, if you will. There's a couple messages there we just passed. Go back up. Okay, and lines 9 and 10, they appear to be identical. Who were those?
The first one is sent to a 676-3420. And it's, hey to YouTube, by Monday or Tuesday I'll have $500 cash towards the loan. Along with that, after I work this next Monday, October 24th, that will be 5 weeks. 200 period total, 750 exclamation point. I will have the remainder of 1250 in a couple of weeks, if not before, exclamation point. Y'all are the best, exclamation point. Thanks again, exclamation point. Give me my total monthly with taxes on this phone, and I will go ahead and pay for October. And then it's star, Kathy B, star, FAW, star.
Okay, can we scroll down to item number 13? Tell us.
Item number 13 is communication received from 731-796-1910. Good afternoon, beautiful. Then another response, outgoing.
Director Cheney, did there appear to be a response to the good afternoon, beautiful text?
Not immediately, no.
Okay, when is the next text associated with that
10/29/11, 8:25:29 p.m. Sorry, silent, got a lot going, exclamation point, Karen. Then an incoming response from the number ending in 1910 at 10/29/11, 8:26:47 p.m. Just call me sometime. I would like to get to know you. Then a response at 8:34:08 p.m. on the 29th, 2011 of October, headed to the costume party now at the farms, Karen. Then a message received from the 1910 number at 8:35:44 p.m. on October 29th, 2011. Okay, have fun. Call me sometime if you can. I would love to take you to dinner.
Was there any more text messages, either ingoing or outgoing, on this particular device?
The last one was the 11:14 2011 at 12:59 p.m.
Okay, and that obviously was well after it appears to be some sort of business.
Correct.
Okay. Did you find any calls of adventure going on with a Voyager?
Yes.
Can you tell us what they are?
So any of on the incoming calls, there was no, the activity stops like at 3/26/2011, but the outgoing calls pick up roughly around 10/3/2011 at 6:21 p.m.
Okay. Direct your attention to the number 2 on that line. The 442-9451.
Correct. It's an outgoing call to that number. There's not a name in the contact list, or it would have populated there. And the date and time is 10/27/2011 at 1:52:05 p.m. for a duration of 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, were you, with your total involvement in this case, you were able to determine the owner of that number?
I believe it was. I believe it was listed as Jamie on another device.
I didn't understand you, sir. What'd you say?
It was listed as Jamie on another device. Jamie.
And that was at 10:27. Now, just to be clear, are these times that we're seeing here, are they in UTC or are they in local time?
They're in local time.
Okay, and would you describe what you see in line 1 there?
It is a call to voicemail, dialing the number of the phone, and that's 10/30/2011 at 9:57:37 a.m.
Okay, do phones like Voyager call voicemail on their own?
No, it's a manual process. You would have to hit either star 86 or dial into your voicemail box.
Okay. And did you examine the voice or the phone records, the Verizon phone records for this Voyager phone?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and were you able to determine whether or not the Verizon records show a call to voicemail at 9:55 on October 30th?
They did not.
How long after Karen's iPhone went off the network extender did the Voyager make this call to voicemail?
I believe it was roughly 5 hours and a few minutes later.
Okay. Do you have a professional opinion why the call to voicemail would show up in your extraction yet not be found in the Verizon records?
To my knowledge of the case, there was a network extender or for all intents and purposes, a cell tower in the home, right, to kind of simplify it. And that provided coverage in and around the immediate home. So if that phone was connected to that network extender, it would go through the data side of the house rather than the voice. So like we are used to now with Wi-Fi calling.
Now, direct your attention to line 3. Do you recognize the phone number associated on that line?
That is listed as 870-740-1577, and contact name is David S.
Okay. Were you able to determine if there were any connections other than this one between the Voyager phone and the defendant's BlackBerry?
I was.
Okay. Can you tell us about those?
Or on the BlackBerry, it was given an evidence item number of 2011-0638A with the number of 870-740-1577.
Were you able to examine this device?
Correct.
Okay. Did you also perform an extraction?
Correct.
is the BlackBerry more or less advanced than the Voyager phone?
At this time, it would be considered a elementary smartphone, if you will. It did have its own app store, had other third-party apps that were included there that you could download and use, so it would be classified as a smartphone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to continue. Were you bringing up the contact, or do you?
I have.
We'll go over that when we get to the BlackBerry.
Okay.
The other phone Ms. Clark brought you on November 14, 2011 was an Apple iPhone 4, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, did you assign an inventory number to it?
I did.
Okay.
The inventory item number for that one was 2011-0627.
Okay, were you able to perform an extraction on that phone?
No, I was not.
Okay, can you tell us why?
The phone, when it was received, the screen was cracked. You could tell the frame was a little bit bent. So when we tried to remove the printed circuit board, or the logic board in this case for Apple, to put it into a donor phone. So in essence, I would take the board out of that phone and place it into a iPhone that is operable, replacing the logic board so that we could power it on. Upon looking at the logic board underneath a microscope, there's capacitors around the processor chip, and the processor chip itself was cracked.
Okay, were you able to retrieve any useful information from your physical inspection of the phone?
The plate that covers the battery so that the battery stays intact has imprinted on it the serial number of that particular iPhone. From another piece of evidence that was received from the original proceeds of the search warrant at the residence, there was an iTunes backup that identified that same device.
So, make sure I'm clear. You obtained a serial number or ID number from the physical iPhone that you found.
Correct.
Okay, and that you were able to look at another, what do you recall what device it was you were looking at?
It was a Dell Dimension desktop, I believe.
Okay, and what information were you able to glean off that computer, if any?
So on 10/18 of 2011, and the time slips me right now without looking at the report, there was an iTunes backup, right? So the phone was physically plugged into that desktop. Apple iTunes was launched, and then a user created a backup of their device at that time.
And were you able to match that iTunes backup? Was there information on that iTunes backup that confirmed that it was done by the same device?
Correct. The info.plist gives that serial number that is tied to also the imprinted serial number on the battery cover plate.
Now, included in the items that were obtained from the search warrant was a list of BlackBerry phone. Did you perform an extraction on that device?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you assign it an inventory number?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell us what that is?
The BlackBerry phone is 2011-0638A.
Okay. And can you describe the process you used for that extraction?
So similar to what I did on the Voyager, the phone goes into the Faraday box. At that time, we remove the battery, check this, in this case, the BlackBerry is able to have removable storage. There was a 2 gig SD card that was there. We removed that. That's a separate, just like I would do with the computer. I would plug that up through a right rocker, image it, and then combine it with the cell phone. So powered on the BlackBerry, put it in airplane mode, brought it back out of the box, connected it with its USB cable to the software, and then performed the extraction.
Okay. Were you able to identify a principal user of that phone?
Correct. It appeared to be Mr. Swift's work cell phone.
Okay. Did he appear to use it solely for business?
There were some communications back and forth with family and the like.
Okay. On the evening of October 29th through the whole day of October 30th, did you determine whether or not this device had any contact with Ms. Swift's iPhone 4 device?
There were a few call logs and a few text messages.
Okay, now, I understand that you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, let me ask a formal question. How are is the BlackBerry listed on your extraction? I'm seeing the screen right now. Is it all chronological, or do you group things and incoming and outgoing?
It's grouped by incoming and outgoing. In this method, there's not a chronological, or what we would look at now, the bubble look, right, when you can see the blue line and the green going back and forth to see the conversations. So it's at the time the tool allowed to pull that and then put it in the category that it was received in or sent.
Okay.